job. You were not qualified for any of them.
Overqualified for some.
Partially qualified for some.
Partially qualified, but then superseded expectations in all, but quit all as well.
Yeah.
Fired. Were you fired more than you quit? Or
No. I quit way more than I was fired. I was fired a few times, but I quit way more.
What job were you? What was the weirdest job you were fired? We got to get to this security stuff too, because Christy did security. I remember Christy would come home. Uncle Dan told me this, and they'd say she had like at her. Do I go to work tomorrow? And you just drop her off at her, what would you call that, a workshop?
Workshop, yeah.
And you go, what did you work on today? And she'd say,
security bags. No, she did this thing called security bags. I didn't even know what they were.
They still don't know what it is.
Really?
On these workshops, they'll set up like little assembly lines, and they'll get jobs from, I don't know, different places around, and I don't even know what security bags were.
But they still don't know.
She also used to do screws. She'd say, what are you doing, screws? And you'd have to count like 10 screws and put them in a little box. But Christy, her boxes never lined up to 10 screws. So she got her ass bagged on that job. So sorry, Chris. We're going to have to put you back on security bags. It doesn't make any difference what you do with those things. You can't screw up a security bag.
But don't you find that they still, to this day, the entire family doesn't know what a security bag is? But they would ask her every day, what'd you do today? She goes, security bags. And they go, well, what do you mean? She go, security bags.
Come on, guys.
You're a bomb pop.
You're a bomb pop junior.
Hey, you know what? That's out of line, buddy. Yeah. Because there's no cartoon
You're
character.
You're a security bag junior.
You're a security bag junior.
Security bag junior. That's right.
I like the story when Christy had a guy at her security bag job. I forget his name, but she always said his name was such and such, and he wears a brown suit.
Yeah, Charlie.
Charlie. You know,
I don't want to
Charlie.
say his last name, but Charlie.
Don't say his last name.
Yeah.
Charlie wears a brown suit. Charlie.
He had business cards too. Charlie did.
Charlie had business, but it didn't say brown suit on the business cards. And then Christy just kept saying, Charlie wears a brown suit. And then one day they have like a party with all of Christy's like workshop friends. He's a fucking black guy. He's a black guy.
Christy likes black guys. She dated this black guy, Byron.
Byron comes to
Byron
the door.
had like 9 girlfriends, though. That was his Christy.
Of course he did. A black guy named Byron Allen.
Yeah.
Byron Allen.
Really?
Coming up next.
The guy comes to the door.
Byron Allen dated Aunt Christy.
The guy comes to the door, and he's black, and the whole family at once goes, oh, he wears a brown suit.
Now I want to know what the fuck a security bag is.
Nobody knows.
It's
They'll
definitely
never know.
not a bag.
They lost the contract. You'll never know.
They lost the contract to Norman and Isaac.
Yeah.
Norman and Isaac.
Norman and Reinhard Zepp.
Goddamn Ron's got the fucking security bag contract.
Man.
It says it on. If you go right now and buy a security bag at Norris Hardware, it says by Ron's.
Made by the Rons.
Made by Ron's.
Do a Google search.
It says made by Ron, parentheses S.
Not all the Rons may have been involved.
Made by several Rons.
Made by several. Yeah, more than 3, right?
Yeah.
Several.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about your security jobs. With your busy schedule, I'm sure you can barely get away from your desk, Uncle Dan.
Yeah, that's me.
So making trips to the post office is the last thing that you have time for. I know a better way. Stamps.com. Buy and print official U.S. postage right from your own computer and printer. Easy and convenient. Plus, Stamps.com will give you a digital scale, automatically calculates the exact postage you need for any letter or package. Print the postage directly onto envelopes, labels, even plain paper, then just hand your mail to your mail carrier. When I say you'll never have to go to the post office again, hey, I really mean it. You will never have to go to the post office again. Right now, Stamps.com has a special offer for my listeners. Use my last name, Mohr, M-O-H-R, for a no-risk trial, plus $110 bonus offer. Includes the digital scale and up to $55 free postage. Don't wait. Go to Stamps.com. Before you do anything else, click on the radio microphone at the top of the homepage and type in Mohr, M-O-H-R. That's Stamps.com. Enter M-O-H-R. How do you get hooked up with the Academy Awards?
Well, I was doing security for this company. It's called California Plant Protection. And then
everything's about plants.
Yeah. Like industrial plants, industrial
plants. Are they even
plants.
going back to your greenhouse roofs?
Yeah,
like no one's going to take the cow shit
Herbs, California Plant Protection. It's actually, anyway.
But that's a weird thing that a security company had a niche for plants.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, they actually bought Pinkerton and kept the Pinkerton name before. But they did the Oscars and the Emmys for years.
Pinkerton, the underrated Weezer album.
Yep.
Yes.
Yep.
Very
So
underrated.
I used to do the Oscars for years. We did the security. During the day, leading up to it, and then during the day and the ceremony. My job was always the media, the media floor. So my job was to stay up there. And after they got their Oscars, they'd come through and they'd be interviewed and go all the way through. And it was a great job.
So where were you during the Oscar telecast? Where were you standing?
Anywhere I want to, I could go in there. I could go behind the curtain.
Well, then that's not a very specific security job.
Well,
If the security guy just walks all over the fucking place during
I
the
had
Oscars,
my guys
he's a
all
lousy
set up. I had my guys all set up, and I just go through the whole thing.
Oh, you were in charge.
I was in charge.
Ron.
I was in charge of that floor, not the big man, not the not.
I want this place surrounded by Rons.
That's it. So this guy said his name was Dave.
Puerto Rican girls are
Stupid.
wrong.
I told you to say your name was wrong. Jesus.
How many guys worked for you?
On that floor?
Under you specifically?
Yeah, we had probably 30 or 40 guys.
You had 30 guys working under you?
Yeah.
Why did you
not,
let that
Not
job?
physically under me. They were like at doors and stuff. Don't get the wrong idea.
So why did you ever leave that job at Pinkerton Security?
Oh, man. Security's a terrible job. Every Monday, you go into your office, the phone starts ringing, and you hear that. Do you know what your guard did this weekend? Do you know what this guy did? Do you know what this guy did?
I don't know anything about this.
Well, they screw up all weekend long. What do you think? Guards, they just do crazy stuff.
Oh, my God.
What's
Corey, president of Fake Mustache Studios, just pulled up security bags on the internet.
What's it say?
What is it?
The technology of... No, it can't be the same thing if the word technology... How long ago was Chrissy doing security bags? This is back in the 50s.
Well, it was low technology, so maybe it was. Maybe it's the same bag.
Bank deposit bag. Today's best solution. I don't want it to sound like a live read. Basically, it's it's the traditional canvas lock and key bags.
Oh, the
Yep,
money
yep.
bags at banks.
The ones they used to Mass Turnpike.
Oh.
They had those canvas
so
lock
Christy
and key
made
bags.
those.
Huh? Maybe, but it said Massachusetts Turnpike Authority right on it. I had a dozen of them at home for years.
That's nice.
No money in them.
Nice security. You should have had
Police
Pinkerton
jackets
Security
and-
Pinkerton Security.
working the Mass Pike. Then creeps like you wouldn't steal police parkas
Maybe they do
and money
now.
bags.
I don't know.
So how do you get into the security business?
Well-
and we got to get back to the complaints on a Monday.
Well, actually, my first security job is I was a security officer at a Department of Defense security plant back in Massachusetts, Grafton, Massachusetts. I was a guard, but we
Wait, like defense, like government?
yeah, it was a government plant. And
How would you say that like so flippant, like,
I know, yeah,
and then I got my paper out. It's the Department of Defense, and they go, how old were you?
Oh, 24, 25.
Here's this 24-year-old guy. Let him guard the silos.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, they didn't have any of that stuff, but we had guns. I mean, we carried guns. And
What?
everything.
What?
Oh, really? We carried guns. I mean,
you carry guns
I was
and-
deputized in that because they deputized all us in case there was a big, there was a
Deputy
big.
Dan.
My biggest mistake was when I moved to California. I had a concealed weapons permit for years from that job. I should have kept it, but I let it go when it came to California.
Were you able to carry a gun in the Millbury house?
Oh yeah, no, because that was
Kept
that was
it
a
on my
Milford
pillow.
house. Anyway.
Milford House,
Yeah.
excuse me.
Wait.
No,
What was,
I wasn't supposed to, but
if
I did.
you had a gun, all of you had guns, what was the biggest threat? Why did you have a gun?
There was no threat. It was just that it was a government job. We had owls and snakes and stuff all around the thing.
Frogs. We were frog
Frogs.
catching out
They
there.
were frogs, but we
That's
didn't
when
shoot
the
them.
frog catching
We used to shoot
business
the frogs with BB guns.
So
really
called.
escalated. As Will Ferrell says on Anchorman, that escalated quickly. Used to grab him from behind. Now, 4 or 5 feet, you just shoot him. Just explode him. Make red snow.
The biggest thing we did was go around and catch pot smokers in that plant.
What are pot smokers doing on a Department of Defense plant?
Smoking pot. What do you think?
On the property?
How do they get in it?
Huh?
Was it just
No,
out
they
of the
just
way?
walk through the gate. It's not. I mean, you think these places are real secure and everything like that.
Well, I'm sure
but
now they are.
I doubt it. What are you going to do? You stick a joint in
He
your
said
sock.
you think they're
Or
secure.
do you-
They've got guns.
Yeah. You've seen some of us carrying guns. Believe me.
So what are the people doing in there? They get it. They
They're
bring a joint in,
making parts for rockets and stuff.
and they're
like
smoking weed in there.
Oh yeah, a lot of guys smoke weed. I'd be doing my rounds and you'd smell it, and the guy, but you never know where they were. You knew they smoked pot. I found joints on the floor.
You never turned anybody in for it though.
No.
Uncle Dan's no rat. He would do time before he rolled on anybody.
Oh, I don't know about that. Depends on what kind of time
Depends
you're
on what
talking
it
about.
is.
Yeah.
I asked Uncle Dan once, we were at a restaurant, and there was a loud guy behind us, and we had a long conversation about zombies. We were just talking about zombies. And finally I go, zombies eat brains. He said something about zombies, they got to eat your brains. And I go, do you think when zombies eat brains, is that considered brain food? And Uncle Dan looks at the guy in line next to him and looks back at me and goes, depends.
Zombies.
The guy was just a fucking yapping asshole in line.
Jeez.
Like if
One
a
of
zombie
those.
ate that guy's brain, he would have gotten dumber.
Dumber.
So how do you? So Pinkerton security. How this is all? I feel like you're withholding on us. Like,
Okay, Pinkerton security. What we would do is we didn't just do the Oscars and the Emmys. We would.
but how the fuck do you get the job? You're just a guy off the
Okay.
street and they hand you a
No.
I
concealed
know you
weapons
didn't just
permit.
open a paper. and
Here's
go,
how I
"There
got the
that
job."
is.
There
I'm
that
gonna get
is.
that. I'm
You know,
a
I
great
lived on the
interviewer."
third floor of the Mill,
Yeah, the Milford House.
the Milford House. So why
I
not
used
give
to
me?
lock the doors every night. No,
I locked the doors at the Milford House. So why not give me a job with a concealed weapons permit and I can guard a nuclear reactor in Grafton, Pennsylvania?
Well, Grafton, Massachusetts,
Same
but we anyway.
Well, you know, Maryland. Hey, I used to live in Virginia Beach.
Hey, anyway,
You ever been to Maryland? Yeah, man. I've been to like Ohio 5 or 6 times.
Purdue chicken. Anyway,
Frank Purdue, man.
I
Looks like Ed Koch.
I got a master's degree in criminal justice.
Wait, I didn't know
Holy
that.
You didn't
shit.
know that?
I've never heard anyone talk about this about you.
All right.
You
Well,
have
I
a
have
master's
in
degree in criminal justice?
Yes,
What
I do.
college? Fame?
Northeastern University.
You went to Northeastern and you got a master's in criminal justice.
Where you were the
yes.
assistant to the assistant of the dean. I saw that.
Yeah, that's right, the assistant to the
Listen, I
dean's
was the
assistant.
I was the assistant to the dean's assistant.
Did you get paid for that job?
Yeah, it was a work study job, but I got paid for it.
You got a master's in criminal justice.
Oh yeah.
You said that like it was porn.
Before or after the slaughterhouse?
This was after the slaughterhouse. This was like in 1970. Let me see. That would have been 1977 or 78.
What were
or
you doing in
something.
1977, Ryan?
I was 4. I was probably riding a big wheel.
Man,
Respect it.
yeah, we had to yell.
I
at
was
kids like
8. I was probably riding a big wheel too.
You were riding a big wheel till you were 18, probably.
Oh
Anyway.
yeah. I wish I still had that green machine. Remember those?
I was,
Yeah,
I
the great-
remember.
they make-
No, see, the
Oh.
green machine was this one, the
It would
hand pump. I
yeah,
had
but
the-
when you ripped the hand
Yeah.
pump, it did 360s.
I had the red Hot Wheel. I think it was a Hot Wheels with the pull-up brake.
Yeah,
you
I'll
could
take
do.
that too.
Yeah, that one.
You guys were lucky. We didn't have any of that stuff. And we had to make our own gigs when we were little kids. You know, like a little.
Fuck is a gig?
A gig is where
A
you
bar
put
gig,
boards
like-
together and hammer some wheels in on the side, and you used it to go down a hill. You know, like
You
a.
called it a gig? What are you, the Little Rascals? Was
Yes,
fucking
yes.
Slimey there
Remember
in his
Spanky?
pajamas?
Remember that kid? That's it.
How old are you?
I'm 60 years old.
You're
torn
60?
Torn
I'm
ACL
60.
playing kick the can.
Be 61.
You said you tore your ACL playing kick the can.
Oh man, that hurt.
Did you play kick the can?
Oh, we played kick the can a lot.
So you actually grew up without television?
What do you mean grew up without television? I was born in 51. So in about 54, 55, we got our first TV. You know, it had like the 6-inch screen or whatever it was. I remember the old Arthur Godfrey show. Do you remember that? Remember?
No, I never heard of it.
Oh man,
You
you
look like
remember
a
the
fool
Big
for
Brother
bringing it up.
Bob Emery show?
No, you look like a
Jeez,
fool.
you remember Bozo the Clown, don't you?
I've heard, yeah,
I remember hearing
okay.
about
I'm
him.
sitting across from him.
Yeah.
Your mom, Audrey, was a staff sergeant in the U.S. Army.
Yes,
Wow.
she was. She
How
was.
cool is that, Sickler?
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Uh,
She used to make me
very
fold my
impressive.
socks. That's and
And
underwear,
flags.
and put it in a drawer
she
in a
shoulda
military
helped,
fashion.
She could have helped. Why? She could have helped Norman out.
She could have helped Norman out, but she would have had to peel about 7 layers of socks off his feet to get it.
Not if she caught him early.
No, that's true.
You
That's
get him
true.
like his first month in the home, and you go, "Get those socks off, Norman, when you bathe in my house, Private Pile."
His feet were like the weirdest color red for like 6 months after
Oh.
that. He had to put on this white stuff on his feet. I didn't do it. I couldn't stand it.
Wait, your mom was a staff sergeant. What year is that?
Well, she was in World War II, so, 40.
Really?
4,
I didn't
45.
even know. I mean, this is my ignorance, but I had no idea they even allowed women to be staff
They don't
sergeants
let broads
back
in
then.
the army.
Oh, yeah.
Hey, not even Audrey Hoyt, huh?
She was a staff sergeant.
Staff, look at this.
First
staff
Sergeant Hoyt. Well, actually, it was First Sergeant Gordon then. That was before she was married, so.
So she was a first sergeant and then a staff sergeant?
I don't know if she was staff sergeant. She was a first sergeant, whatever
In
the
World War
difference
II,
is.
that's
Yeah.
And in World War II, what was her job during World War II?
I don't even know what her job was besides being a sergeant. I don't know what a sergeant does, tell you the honest God's truth.
Drill sergeant, we know what they do.
She wasn't a drill sergeant.
Supply
she was,
sergeants hand out socks.
She
to
wasn't a
Norman.
supply sergeant.
Norm, yeah, that's who did Norman.
My dad was
Norman.
only a corporal, so she outranked him.
In the house as well as in the military.
Nah, not in
Did
the
your
house
mom
so
get a
much.
military funeral?
You know what? My mother didn't, but my dad did.
That's bullshit. A corporal.
They
got
only
one
had
and a
3 guys. They had to shoot 7 times.
Yeah. That's 7 times 3
Yeah.
is 21 guns.
And they folded
Yeah.
the flag wrong, too. I was so pissed.
It's because they were all drunk on
They
Valentine.
were
Yep.
drunk.
They were drunk on Valentine, Uncle Dan. Let me ask you this. You told me a story a long time ago, and it became a running gag between you and I. And if you're uncomfortable talking about this, I don't think you'll give a shit. Uncle Dan, when they had TV, there was a race demonstration on TV.
Man. This was like the 50. I remember it was like 55 or 54.
And he's like 5 years old. It seems like in the 50s, like they dressed boys and like girls like, like buckwheat.
Not me.
Like sailor outfits.
Maybe other guys, but not me.